Hi everyone, it's Guided Grace, and today my focus is going to be about the importance of a schedule. And it sounds very simple, but I think it's something that a lot of people don't do. And I was actually speaking to one of the parents that I work for, and she was just basically like so just influenced by the fact that I had a schedule and the fact that like I give my day literally some sort of direction, and just kind of explaining to her that yeah, in the mornings it's this time I'm doing this, from this time to this time I'm doing this, and then I transition to this and that. And she was just like, oh my gosh, like wow, how do you do that? I need to be more organized. And so I don't think it's as easy as many people think it is, because most people probably would have been doing it, or, they maybe don't know the importance of a schedule. And so just wanted to kind of briefly talk about why I think you should have a schedule and why you need to start today on planning your days moving forward, because you will get a lot of things done. You will be very productive. As someone who used to procrastinate a lot in the past, until I started, writing out what my week is going to look like, what my day-to-day activities generally are going to look like, that's when I was able to have more clarity, more direction in my day. I wasn't like just scrolling on social media and like wasting time, or I wasn't just watching TV for a massive amount of hours like I used to. Like I actually understood like, okay, no, for this amount of time, I really need to get this work done. For this amount of time, I got to work out. For this amount of time, like kind of like that. So, I always want people to first start off with their priorities. What are things that you need to get done in that day? I know this is going to sound very self-explanatory, but it's very important that you focus on those priorities first, because as we know, the later in the day, the harder it is for you to actually achieve those things. The harder it is for you to be motivated to want to do those things later. Case as an example, working out. I do not like to work out at night. Nothing in the evening. I don't like working out at all in general. But I have started to enjoy working out in the morning. And not like at 6 a.m. or anything like that. But like maybe around 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. And that works best with my schedule. But I found that if I do this every day, with of course 2 rest days, but if I do this every day, have a schedule, have a routine of working out about an hour a day around 11 to noon as an example, then I find myself to actually do it consistently. Same thing with meditating on the word or even praying in the morning. Let's be honest, sometimes we wake up in the morning and we prioritize our phone, we prioritize our messages. I play games on my phone sometimes, and sometimes I find myself looking at those games or looking at emails or reading like volunteers or people that I work with, reading their messages in the morning before I take a pause and be like, hold on, let me actually use this time to praise my Father and get in the Word. So I've had that challenge, and I had to tell myself, look, we're gonna have to start our day with God. There's no way around it, because I found myself to be putting other things before my prayer time. And before I knew it, I got so caught up in whether it was a work email or if it was cooking in the morning or whatever it was that distracted me. I found myself getting so caught up in my distraction that when it was time for me to pray, I was either like, oh my gosh, I got to do this now, or now it's time for me to get this done and I don't have time to pray, or now I'm rushing into my prayer time because I know I only have, a few couple minutes left or maybe an hour left until I have to get work done. So I found that when I started to implement prayer in the beginning of my day, which may be, let's say 8 in the morning, okay, as an example, then I was able to say, you know what? this is very important to me and I got to get this done in the beginning of the day. So going back to priorities, my prayer time was a priority for me. Meditating in the word was a priority for me. So that means I start my day with that. So I began to put that in my schedule. Typically after my prayer time is when I work out. And so I then began to kind of like create my schedule according to that. Okay, after we do our prayer time, now it's time for workout. Perfect. Okay, after workout, we take our shower, we eat our breakfast, bam. And just like that. And that's kind of like a daily morning routine that I have. Then it's usually the afternoon by then. And so I usually work in the afternoons. And then I get off and then I'll try to, think of something else important that I need to do in the afternoon. But again, you do your most important things in the beginning of your day. Now, I used to work third shift, so if you're somebody who works like the graveyard shift is what they call it, then of course you plan accordingly. So your schedule is going to look completely different from someone who works a typical 9 to 5 or someone who has a more flexible schedule. And so you got to literally adjust your schedule to what works best for you. But the whole purpose of this video is so that you're aware of the importance of starting with just scheduling out your day and even do the week. Like, let's be honest, every day we're typically doing the same thing, right? Some of us have to pick up kids at a certain time. Some of us have to go to school at a certain time or go to work at a certain time. The only time, I would think that most people are kind of changing their days or their days look a little different would be on the weekends or maybe on their off days. So, plan accordingly, even on your off days or on the weekends. I found myself to fall into the trap of just literally watching movies all day on a weekend and not doing anything at all. I mean, nothing productive, not even like cleaning my place. So, I know sometimes it can kind of be a little like I sometimes want to just be lazy and not want to do anything. But it really helps to even factor your lazy time into your schedule. Factor in that fun time. Factor in that social time. Factor in that time when it's just you and God. Make sure that you are putting those moments into your schedule, because if that's in your schedule, then it's going to be very doable for you when you check it and you're going to be like, I see this. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing today. So by incorporating balance into your life, by, allowing yourself to have this time frame for this and this time frame for that, you start to create this routine. And it may sound a little boring at first, or it may sound, so redundant, but you have to understand that if you want any consistency in life, it's going to require having some type of routine, some type of consistent routine. Even thinking about, our gifts and our purpose in life and what God has called us to do, it's very important that we get into a routine of getting into prayer and meditating on the word, because those are going to be your most precious moments to give, allow God to give direction for where you're supposed to be going, where your day is headed or what you are supposed to be doing within that day. So I hope this video was clear enough. I hope this video gave you some type of confirmation. Please, let me know in the comments if it did or if it didn't. But I just had this in my spirit. I got to let people know we got to get a schedule going on, because me personally, my schedule has literally helped me get so much done. And I was just looking over my week and everything I have done in the week. And, since I've started really getting back to scheduling, it has allowed me to really have moments where I can just, close my laptop or just, get away from my phone and just have moments to sit, to rest, allowing me to just process my thoughts. I put all that in my schedule. So I think it's important. I think you should give it a try, and this time really follow through on it. I think having a gratitude journal or having a daily journal is also good for accountability, because as you continue to do it every day, you're going to want to kind of start recording your thoughts or recording your gratitude moments, recording reflections. So I highly recommend getting a journal or some type of gratitude workbook or something, which, I may make something like that in the future. I might do that because I use one personally and it has helped me so much. And I know I created a workbook before in the past. I don't think it's out to the general public yet, but I really appreciate having kind of like these moments in the evening or in the mornings when I can just sit down and write out what my day is going to look like, what are my important priorities that I need to focus on, and so on and so forth. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.